Hello, I'm Dan Genovese. I'm Director of Consulting at EnerCom, and I'm joined today by Stephen Johnson. He's the president with Illinois Clean Fuel. Good afternoon, Stephen.
Hey, Dan, pleasure to meet you.
You bet. Hey, we're looking forward to hearing you present on Tuesday, August 17th, 10:55 a.m. That's Mountain Time at the Oil and Gas Conference, and your company is going to be available for one-on-one meetings. And I think after the viewers hear your story, I think they'll want to set up a meeting with you to talk about your company. Tell us a little bit about Illinois Clean Fuels and what you're up to.
Yeah, so Illinois Clean Fuels is a synthetic fuel plant under development that is going to produce 30,000 barrels a day of jet fuel from municipal solid waste paired with carbon capture and storage, where we'll be taking the excess CO2 from the process and locking it underground in permanent storage so it doesn't get out into the atmosphere.
Yeah, so why is a synthetic fuel company coming to present an oil and gas conference?
Well, so fundamentally, we think that whether the fuel is from natural resources or a synthetic product, we're fundamentally in the same business. So, as producers of jet fuel, we've always viewed the project from more of sort of an upstream oil and gas supply side kind of perspective, but with an explicit design focus on being a cost competitive producer where we can operate in the typical markets against Brent crude oil without reliance on subsidy. So we think that's something that sort of fundamentally sets ICF apart from other players in the biofuel space, because we view green as sort of more of a feature as opposed to a core product. Even though obviously the market for tons of avoided CO2 in the fuel pool is now beginning to be viewed as sort of a commodity itself.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be at the right place. We do have some alternatives like renewable natural gas, and we also have geothermal that are going to be presenting at the conference. It's the same question to them: what are they doing here? And I think you'll hear the same story: is that energy, whether it's from a geologic or fossil based, or whether it's in one of the alternatives, the case to be made is energy, and these are energy investors, energy companies. So it's going to be great to have you with us. What makes it the right time to make an investment in your business, and how do you make synthetic fuels green and cost effective?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the concept of synthetic fuel has been around for a long time. So, coal to liquids and gas to liquids have all been proven and scaled. I mean, the technology itself dates back to like World War II. But to make the technology green, there's kind of a couple of things that you have to do right. So synthetic fuel can be either extremely good from a climate perspective or extremely bad from a climate perspective, depending upon how you set it up. So the integration of carbon capture and storage technology is one of the key things that allows us to achieve an ultra low carbon footprint, but then also basically, instead of using a fossil fuel as an input material, we want to feed as much biomass into the process as possible to close up that carbon life cycle and effectively start pulling carbon out of the air and putting it back in the ground instead of taking it out of the ground and putting it up in the air. Integration of carbon capture and storage is key on that, and then cost-effective sourcing of biomass is key. So to the extent that we're doing something that's innovative here, we've taken the technologies that have been proven at full scale in the coal to liquids industry, and we've spec'd a gasifier that allows us to use municipal solid waste as a feedstock material. And municipal waste is about 65% biomass. So that, in the combination with carbon capture and storage, lets us achieve an ultra low carbon intensity, very far below zero. So burning a gallon of our fuel is effectively like unburning somebody else's gallon of fuel from a life cycle basis. But then also we do it at a very large scale, which gives us the ability to achieve a production cost that's low and competitive with Brent crude. And so anything that we make from the environmental product side of things really kind of acts as icing on top of the cake. The project is designed to be a competitive producer of fuel in the oil and gas industry. So I guess if there's a drawback to the technology, it's that, it doesn't scale down very gracefully. You have to be at like a 30,000 barrel a day scale to make the math pencil. And I think that's one of the things that really distinguishes ICF from other players in the industry, in that, we achieve the scales that are necessary to be able to hit that efficiency. 30,000 barrels a day, that translates to about 12 million tons a year of garbage that's going to feed into the process. So not a small undertaking.
Yeah. So will you be able to source that much trash coming in to kind of provide that bio feedstock for that large scale project?
Yeah, so we always like to say that, the U.S. is the Saudi Arabia of garbage. There's a tremendous amount of feedstock out there, and I think everybody sort of fundamentally has an understanding that, look, the stuff that we're doing with trash is bad. Landfilling or incineration are stopgaps at best, and really there's an enormous amount of energy and raw materials in these wastes that is literally being wasted. So the value chain that we're putting together here really helps communities in a big way. So all the major communities that we're talking to really want to see two things. They want zero waste to landfill, and they want net zero carbon. Integrating with the front end of our supply chain, we can deliver both of those things within prevailing economics of the waste industry. We're not asking people to pay more for, treating their trash. It's really a superior economic option for versus landfilling or incineration, and one that we're working with major partners in the municipal waste industry to boost their profitability and their bottom line as we build out the supply chain.
In the past, the biofuel industry has had its fair share of struggles. What has changed to make it different for Illinois Clean Fuel?
Yeah, well, production cost is really one of the biggest challenges when it comes to biofuels, and especially for sustainable aviation fuel, which is, let's say, more exacting technical standards than your typical biodiesel. What we think is different this time is that we were able to get the production costs down to a point where it's competitive, without reliance on the subsidy. That allows you to continue operating even when you go through market cycles. But that actually also gives us a bit of an edge relative to conventional oil and gas players, because obviously the last couple of years haven't been terribly kind to the upstream in oil and gas either. You backtest the economics of what we're doing here, the income that we make from the environmental product side of things would have had this project operating comfortably in a profitable way, even when oil prices went briefly negative. So, it really gives us a degree of economic anti-fragility that you wouldn't see in other sorts of upstream oil and gas opportunities.
Well, it certainly sounds intriguing, and I think everybody's going to be really interested in hearing your presentation. Again, that's on Tuesday, August 17th, 10:55 a.m. Mountain Time at the Oil and Gas Conference in Denver. That's a live conference, in-person conference, and you'll be available for one-on-one meetings. I really want to encourage people. There's lots to tease out there with respect to tipping fees and how you're going to procure that organic waste kind of coming in, or the trash coming in as feedstock, as well as other details about the refining and production process of the synthetic jet fuel. So lots to learn, and want to encourage people to join you at the presentation, breakout session, one-on-one meetings at the conference. Stephen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much. We look forward to seeing everyone there. And if you want to look for any additional information in the meantime, take a look at our website at www.icfuels.com.
Thanks, Stephen. Have a great day.